So you've been dying to get out there, buy a vehicle, and start exploring. And you've heard online all these people tell you to buy a used vehicle and just get out there and explore. Well, I'm going to go through some things today in this video that will tell you what to watch out for and why you may not want to buy a used vehicle to get out there and explore. So who am I? My name is Mike Patterson. I've been an outdoors person since I can remember. There's stories of me at 2 years old going out in the middle of winter and enjoying the outdoors. I've done stuff all across Canada, and right now I have a converted van that I converted myself, and I get out there and explore in that van. So today I'm going to share some of my experiences with buying used vehicles and what you should look out for. I'm not going to talk you out of buying a used vehicle because sometimes that's all you can get to get into exploring outdoors. But I'm going to give you some things to watch out for. So the first thing, and this is a big one, is if your vehicle has rust, any amount of rust that is not just a surface rust, walk away. I know, better yet, run away from that vehicle because it is not worth it. Rust is one of those things that once it gets in a vehicle, it is almost impossible to get rid of and can cost you a ton more than what it's worth. Now, I've seen people online constantly recommend, just go out and buy that old rusted out Sprinter and get out there. Who cares if you can see through the walls and stuff, through the rust? No. Believe me. Rust is one of those things, to fix it, you'll never get rid of it. And why put in a ton of money into a vehicle if it's just a rust bucket and it's just going to fall apart? So that's the first thing to watch out for. Second thing is, if you're buying a used vehicle, check everywhere that you can to make sure that that vehicle has not been in an accident. You can get reports, you can get other stuff, but if your vehicle has been in an accident, if there's major damage to it that was never corrected properly or never corrected at all possibly, it's not worth it again to get into it. Run away from it. Really, run away from it. Saw a story not too long ago where somebody had went out, bought a vehicle, took it in, had new tires put on it, couldn't afford an alignment at the time. A couple weeks later, they noticed their tires were wearing already. So they rushed in to get an alignment, and the alignment shop went, nope, sorry, we're not going to do an alignment. Your whole frame is twisted. They went, what? Well, they had already put on new tires. They had already had some mechanical work done to it. They have already done a bunch of fixing up. And I'm not talking just vans. I'm talking about all vehicles. But they had already done some fixing up. This was a van. And now they were at the point of either spending a ton of money to get the frame straightened or to write it off. They ended up writing it off. They ended up actually leaving, not able to use the vehicle anymore, and went back to living in an apartment, getting a job, and trying to get out of debt because of what they went into debt for in that vehicle. So be very careful that there has not been accidents. The other thing on the flip side of that, or with that, is make sure it hasn't been involved in a flood, because that can cause you major issues, not only for problems with the vehicle, but when you go to get it insured, there can be issues if it was reported as a flood vehicle. So be very careful with flood vehicles. Now, mechanical wise / age of the vehicle. Honestly, age of the vehicle is totally irrelevant in many situations, many instances. Unless, and this is a big one, unless you can't get replacement parts easily. So before you buy your used vehicle, check with the dealer, then check with independent garages, part shops, to make sure that the parts are available, to make sure you have suitable sources to get them from. If it's a vehicle that is very popular, let's say a GMC 1500 or 2500 pickup truck, very popular out there, tons of people have them, you should be able to get parts for that for years. If it's a specific vehicle, let's say it's a SUV that has been discontinued, that was only out for 1 model year or 2 model years, and then they changed it, make sure you can get parts for that vehicle. I had a pickup truck. I loved it. It was a GMC 2500 HD 2002, but it was a 2002.5. Most parts from the 2002 and 2003 GMC trucks fit on that with no problem. Fuel filter, air filters, light bulbs, all that stuff, no problem. There were some things that truck could not use from either of the years. And it was a pain. It was a real pain to try to find them. Now, it was more specific things. It wasn't your major replacement items like fuel filters, but be very careful. Find out if you can get parts. Find out if you can get the usual stuff as well as the big stuff like a fender and so on and so forth. So check that out. Now, for repairs, here's the thing. If you buy a used vehicle, immediately before you start doing anything with it, take it in and have a trusted mechanic look it over and tell you whether you should replace the major wear parts. And that's not the air filters, that's not the fuel filters. Those you should do anyways. But check for rads, check for water pumps, check for transmission. Have them check everything out and see if there's anything that is worn to the point that it needs to be replaced. You may find that you're sinking $10,000 in to buy a vehicle, and then to get it on the road safely, you're spending another $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to replace the major stuff. So check all that before you buy the vehicle. And then if you do buy a used vehicle and it's in good shape, go through it and have the stuff repaired that you can repair. I see many people online. They tell you, oh, if you have a problem, just repair it on the side of the road. If you don't know how to repair a vehicle, you're not going to be able to repair it on the side of the road with all the correct tools and without YouTube and without internet and so on and so forth. So don't fall for that garbage from a lot of these people. They're out there promoting their way, their lifestyle, their products, their materials. But don't fall for it. Just don't fall for it. The next thing, before buying the vehicle, check to make sure that you can insure the vehicle. Depending upon the state of the vehicle, depending on what repairs need to be done, depending upon body condition, in some places, you cannot insure a vehicle that's in bad shape. They will go through it and they will require a safety. They will require it to meet provincial regulations, federal regulations, state regulations, whatever it is. So you may have to go out and spend a ton of money before you can even get it insured to take it to different places. So check all this stuff out ahead of time. Now, I talked before about the age of vehicle. Honestly, the age of vehicle is not really relevant to much as long as you can get the parts. But be careful. Check before you buy it to see if you can get insurance on the vehicle and if it's going to cover all the stuff that you have added to it. So, example. Somebody I know went out and bought a really nice SUV. I would love this SUV. It is amazing. They did a bunch of work on it. They bought it for $8,000. They sank almost $20,000 into it to change bumpers, tires, did work on the engine, and so on and so forth. So they were looking at almost a $30,000 vehicle. When they went to insure it, they got a really good insurance rate, and then they found out that it was only insured for $500. That was it. The insurance company refused to insure it for any more. They said that that was the book price and that it was only insured for that. It took them a lot of dealing to go out, pay to have it appraised, pay to have 2 appraisals, pay to go, or not pay, but go back to the insurance company and argue with them to get the higher appraisal value put on that vehicle after they did all the work and for the condition of the body and everything. So be very careful. You may be insuring your vehicle thinking that, hey, it's worth $5,000. And then you find out if you have an accident that they're only paying you $1,500 because that's it. If you're doing a lot of work to it, take it in after you've done the work and get it appraised for all the work that's in the vehicle if that's important to you. If you're living in it full time, if that's all your money invested in it, be careful. Now, if you do buy a used vehicle, consider how long you're going to have it for. Really, seriously, consider that. Before you go out and have custom bumpers built for it, before you have custom bed liners, custom racks, custom whatever put onto it. I see so many vehicles. They're beautiful, don't get me wrong. They're amazing. They're excellent. They're fabulous vehicles. They really are. But when you look at them, you know that once that vehicle packs it in, they're not going to find another vehicle in good shape in that model year that's going to take everything that they have on that vehicle. So they've spent the money and that money is gone. If they got into an accident today, they may be able to find a used vehicle of that model age. But in 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, what's the chance they're going to find a model year vehicle in as good a shape as theirs that they can just move the parts over? Very slim to none. Again, I said, I'm not talking just about vans. I'm talking about everything. SUVs, pickup trucks, whatever, ambulances, buses, all of that stuff, really watch it. Be careful with it. So I hope that helped you. I hope that gave you some ideas to look for. I'm not saying don't buy a used vehicle, but please look it over really, really close. Check everything out before you put your money into it And then hopefully afterwards you can get out and enjoy it and have it for a long time. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.